Is that too much? Oh, maybe. No. Yep. That's good enough. What's going on? Just a little impromptu chat here. Feel free to ask me any questions. I don't have a lot, but I just felt like doing one of these. Why? Because I just watched a video last night that was really good. And I like promoting other Pentax YouTubers. If you hadn't found this guy's channel, you should really check it out. Eddie Summers. I'll link it below. So definitely check out his channel. The audio coming through okay? Check. There we go. Yeah, so feel free to get on here. Like I said, it is last minute, so I don't know how many people will be on here, and just ask me any questions you want. But a little bit of this is going to be about Pentax, and then I'm going to kind of cover what Eddie latest video was, because it was very interesting and you should check it out. First off, the 21 millimeter limited full frame silver edition, which I was trying to order. I was going to give you an update on that. I ordered it on the 11th, and in the email that I got, it said only the black was available, but on the Ricoh website, it did have the silver on there, and I could add it to my cart. So I did that, and then the following Monday, I got an email that said, "Hey, that's not available. We don't know when it's going to be available. So, do you want us to cancel?" And I said, "Okay, just cancel it and let me know when it's going to be available." And then, like, not too long later, they sent me an email. "Well, hey, we're supposed to get it on the 15th. So do you just want us to wait instead of cancel?" I was like, "Yeah, that's fine." So the 15th came and went. So on that following Friday, like the 18th or 19th, I just emailed them. It's like, "Hey, I noticed it hadn't shipped. Do you have any more info?" And they're like, "Oh, the shipment was delayed." It's like, "Oh, that's fine." He's like, "We should have them. The tracking says it's coming in today, later today." I was like, "Okay, cool." And that was it. And then the next week, I was like, it still hadn't shipped. I hadn't got the shipping notification. So I went back on their site, checked the orders, and I noticed they just canceled it without contacting me again or anything. So I don't know what's going on there. So, yeah, and my credit card has not been, funds haven't gone back in, but I know typically it takes 10 or 5 to 10 business days for for a refund to take effect. But I don't want them to get it in, like, you know, this week or whatever, and I go ahead and order it again, and then I have a $1,400 charge and a $1,400 charge on there. So we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you updated on that. Let's see here. Any other Pentax news? Not really going on. If you have something that I've missed, I didn't check Pentax forums, but somebody posted that there was a K70 update, which was kind of unusual. Let me just check out Pentax forums and see if there is any or not forums, rumors. I'm not on forums too much, but I am on there. Anybody get some good cyber deals? They did have those pretty good, which I mentioned in the last video. The 55 to 300 PLM was on that Black Friday deal. How many of you took advantage of that? Yeah, I'm not seeing very many. There's a firmware fix on the GR3X that just been released, supposedly. Oh yeah, and Pentax Day. I forgot about that. Hey, I missed Pentax Day. All right, let's see here. So in Eddie's video, his video was entitled "How to Get Better at Photography," something like that was the title. So I thought it was very interesting. I watched the whole video and I made some notes because I'd done something like that before. Well, I took these notes, then I went back and watched it again. Oh, you got the 21 within a week. Was it the silver though? Because the the black one is available. They had the black at first. They said, "We don't have the silver. Do you want the black?" And I said, "No, I'd just rather have the silver. I'm willing to wait for it." Uh, so hopefully I'll get it soon. And also, I was going to say I'm doing these Pentax lives, but my schedule is going to be all over the place. So if you're watching this later and you don't like this time and you're in a different country, I will be doing these a little bit later, so it might be a better time for you to get on here and chat. Okay, both of them were available. Okay, it's weird that Rico. Let me check this out. Let me see, because last time I checked, B&H didn't have them available. What camera store are you ordering them from in Canada? Let's see here. Nope. On B&H, it still says coming soon, and you can get an update when it's coming. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be doing these later. So if you're somewhere across the oceans, it might be a better time for you, so you could actually get here, get on here and chat with me. It's on Amazon. Okay, I didn't look at Amazon. I typically don't buy off Amazon. I usually try B&H or eBay. Okay. Jim said he ordered one from B&H, and now they're out of stock again. So, yeah, they're pretty limited on getting them here. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna talk about photography in general now, and Eddie's video, how to get better at photography. Uh, so I'm going to talk about things I did. I agree with like probably 95% of what he said. Everybody's different on how they learn photography or just learning photography and on just how to get better and things I can actually do to get better. So you could leave some comments or chats here. Hey, how's it going there, RV Solar homesteaders? uh, so first off, how to get better photography. You're just starting out on photography. I did a video on how I got started on photography, but this is a little bit different, and I liked Eddie's video a lot. So definitely check that out. Um, I'll start off by saying don't get on that. You got your camera and your lens. Well, this is an icon, but I shouldn't do that, should I? Okay, you got your camera. You got your camera and your kit lens. This isn't kit lens, but you've got your camera and your kit lens, and you're just starting out. A lot of people just go out and buy like gazillion lenses, like the lenses I have behind me, but that's not a good idea. If you're just starting out, you want to get used to your camera. You want to know all the settings, and you want to. Every kit lens is pretty good. I mean, it's not excellent, but it's good. It's excellent for a starter. So you want to use that lens to its fullest, get to know it as well as you can, and then when you want to buy a new lens, say, why am I buying a new lens? What is limiting me with this kit lens? That is one of the first things I would recommend. I didn't do that, and most people aren't going to do that, but totally, totally do that. Oh, you want me to clean my sensor? um, so yeah, don't keep on buying equipment. Go out and practice your photography is what I would say. Practice and practice and practice until you get better. And the way you practice is you move out of all these different modes. Try them all out. You might be in automatic already, and then try going to AV mode. Try going to TV mode. Go into manual. Be able to look at a scene and say, "Hey, I'm gonna." If you move in the manual, you'll be able to do this. You'll be able to say, "Hey, this setting, I need ISO 1600. I need to be shooting at f 3.5, and my shutter speed should be around like 1/80th of a second. And I'm shooting at 28 millimeters. Be able to do that. That's when when you could start upgrading your lenses and whatnot. And you'll know your camera, you'll know yourself, and just helps out a lot. Let's see what else. What else could you do to kind of fix your photography? Get get used uh, get used to your editing software. Find one that you like. There's all sorts of tutorials on YouTube and everything. Find one that you like. It could be freeware. I mean, I use Lightroom, but whatever whatever you find, kind of stick with it and adjust all your images, and then come back and look at them side by side before you export that image. Did I overdo it? A lot of times you do. I know I did that a ton at first. I would over edit stuff, just try to move all this stuff around. It's fine to do that, but just you'll get done with it, and then you'll go back and look at the original image, and it's like I totally messed up that image. The original looks better than the other one. So that's one that you need to do is find that post processing software that works best for you. Another thing, if you're trying to get jobs out there, if that's what you're trying to get to with your photography, whenever you share something online, you definitely need to show your best work. Um, and also, if you're sharing a lot and you're not sharing your best work, make sure only your best work has a bug on it if you like to use bugs or watermarks or whatnot. So you don't want to put a watermark on something that's not your top work. Um, and another thing is just if you're trying to learn, just watch a bunch of YouTube's videos, just kind of like you're doing now. There's a ton out there that are really good. I'll share a few that I watched when I first started photography, and that helped me out a lot. When you're that's the thing that excited me about photography is when I first started, there was so much to learn. Even though I had a lot of experience in video, so I knew how to set up a composition and all that, but there was so much that I didn't know from video to stills. So um, here's some of the ones that I watched. I mean, I'm sure there's some others out there now that might be just as good as if not better, but these are really good. Gavin Hoey and Mark Wallace, they're both on Adorama TV. Those are very good ones. And Gavin Hoey does a lot of just kind of like project photography that's really fun to do if you're kind of finding yourself um, a little bit bored with what you're shooting. Check out his channel. And one of my favorite one is Brian Peterson for that as well. He's on Adoramas, I think, as well, but I think he has a separate channel as well. So make sure to check all three of those out. And then one that just goes through like everything in its entirety. Um, lynda.com, he's on there, but I think he has some videos on YouTube, but I think lynda.com has like his whole thing, and I think it's like 2 or 3 hours, and it just goes over exposure, aperture, lighting. It goes over everything. Um, when I watched him, I already knew a bunch of this stuff, but it was a nice refresher as well. His name is Ben Long. So lynda.com is a great site for that. I actually watched that at work. I probably shouldn't have because it had nothing to do with what they were wanting me to watch. But anyway, I don't work there anymore, so it doesn't really matter. Great stuff. And there's a bunch of Lightroom and Photoshop stuff as well on there that I didn't really take advantage of, but there are those on there as well. But there's a ton on YouTube if you're really looking forward to getting into Lightroom and Photoshop. Now that's one thing that I could do to better my photography myself. I don't use Photoshop all that often. I don't like editing. Um, I'm not sure if I'll really dive into that since I'm just a hobbyist. I'm not trying to do it as a job, but if I do need Photoshop for something, Lightroom's not doing it for something, I'll just get on YouTube and check out a Photoshop tutorial on how to do some sort of composite or whatever I'm trying to do. But yeah, okay. Another thing is, um, I know this is probably a lot of people still do this, and I think, I mean, it's up to you, but when I first got my camera, I got a nifty 50. What was I shooting at what aperture all the time? F1.8, 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 you know? Uh, and it's great. I mean, it looks really, really nice, but I mean, you have to, you kind of get stuck in that F1.8 once you see that, oh man, look at all that, shallow depth of field. Try to get away from that and realize there are other apertures that might be better for the shot that you're taking. So don't always think that I need a prime lens with a wide open aperture to shoot everything just because it's going to look more cinematic or better in that way. I got stuck in that a little bit myself. Let's see what else I got here. Any questions or any insight on what made you better at photography that I hadn't covered thus far? Another thing is, yeah, I talked about using that, using the post production for software, but I think the number one thing is try to get it right in camera. Too many people say, "Oh, I'm just shooting in RAW. It'll be fine. I can just do whatever." And to fix it, it's like, no, no, to get, it's so much more, at least for me, pleasurable to try to get it in camera and know that you've nailed it down. And that's my favorite thing is going back and you know looking at the picture when I put it in my editor and just saying, I kind of nailed this. I don't really need to touch this up at all. It's there, or I might just have to do very, very slight things. Wouldn't you rather spend most of your time out in the field shooting rather than sitting behind a computer for uh, you know an hour trying to edit 20 shots that you took because they're like so badly underexposed or overexposed or something's just not right about them. So just try to get right in camera. Practice doing that. Uh, let's see here. And oh, here's one that Eddie said that I agreed with like most of what he said, but he said, don't ask for criticism in a public forum. I kind of agree with that, but where I did learn a lot of stuff is actually joining critique groups. So I joined a couple of Flickr critique groups, and they were really interesting. There were some people that were like really, you could say they were cruel or whatever, but not really. If you go back and look at what they said, and you're like, oh, okay. The next day, maybe you got a little bit mad about it because don't try to put your best image up there and think that everybody's going to say, oh, it's a criticism group, so they're going to say something that you could have done better. And not all the criticisms are going to be correct. I mean, it's in the eye of the beholder. So you could click on their name and see what pictures they've taken and see if it's not even your style. So you could just don't listen to them or whatnot. But a lot of the criticisms were correct. And thinking about them and saying, yeah, I can actually see that. And after a while, you get to where you can, after joining these groups, you could look at your own image and kind of criticize it yourself and say, hey, I uh, I know what I did wrong here without even putting it in a group. I hadn't been in one of those groups in a while. So a camera club is also another. I haven't joined a club, but I've heard some really good things about them. You probably have a camera club in your area that you could probably join and see other people's pictures and kind of interact with them and get some pointers from them because I'm usually the camera clubs have an older group that have been shooting for a long time. So, uh, yeah. Let's see what else. Um, and sometimes I cover all this stuff, and it might have been in a video. I apologize. I'm like very vague. My wife tells me. it's like I think I have said this before, but actually have not, or I think people know this and they don't. So forgive me for that. Uh, any questions about the? Oh yeah, and he also talked about ego a little bit. Is try to not have an ego in photography. So I'll talk about the time that I kind of had a little bit of an ego. Is I was in shooting up in the mountains, and I was going to shoot this cabin. It was snowing, and it had a really good view. And I had shot this cabin plenty of times. It had the same view, and they all turned out great. But that's that's what everybody else shot. If you look online, everybody else shot that same angle of view because it looked really good. But so mine really wasn't too unique. And there was a older gentleman over there with his point and shoot, and he said to me, he's like, "There's actually better place over there to shoot." And I'm like, "Really? Yeah, 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 yeah." Kind of like that. And talked to him for a minute, and then he left. And I went over there. I was like, "Man, this dude knows what he's talking about. This is like an excellent point of view. He just nailed it." I was like, I shouldn't have thought, "Yeah, yeah, you're out here with your point and shoot and blah blah blah." So I kind of felt bad about that. So yeah, don't try not to get ego. I had a little bit of ego there, which was shitty on my part. All right. So stuff that I need to do to get better. I think post post skills. Like I said, I need to learn Photoshop. I don't think I will, just because editing is something that I don't enjoy, and I'm just a hobbyist. Other things I could do to get better is probably I know just enough of Flash to be dangerous. Um, but I'd probably, if you ask me a question about Flash, I'd probably send you over to Kobe. I think I've done that before, just because I don't use Flash. I don't do event photography or anything like that. Mine's all nature photography. So keep that in mind. Um, we're at here. We're at 22 minutes. So anybody have any questions real quick? I'm going to probably end this right now. That Eddie Summers video just really intrigued me, and I just thought I'd share some of my comments about that in a live stream. All right. Yeah, there's a bunch of really good YouTube photographers out there. Ton. All right. Let me grab my camera, see if there was any. I was going to talk about something that I've been meaning to do is since I don't like to edit, and with my K3 I was shooting raw again for a while, and then I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna move back to JPEG because I'm too many shots. If I need the DNG, I look at it, I think, hey, this scene has too much highlights and darks. I need to take this shot with the DNG, so I'm gonna switch it out to that. But most of the stuff I'm shooting just with the JPEG. So the 6 possible K variants. Which do you prefer? The variants in what? You mean the metering? Is that what you're talking about? As far as metering, I just use. I know a lot of people have been switching to that highlight one. I've just stuck to the standard, the matrix thing, where it takes the all the scene and kind of equivalates it to that. Just because I'm kind of stuck in that since I've been doing that for years, so uh, I know it so well. I just adjust with exposure compensation since I use the AV mode, and it works out for me. I need to try it out just since I hadn't tried it out, but If something works for you, I don't see a need to go away from it. But I still like to try out those things. Sometimes I don't try out the new features as much as I should. Kobe's really good about doing that. Astro version, monochrome version. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Liam Atkinson. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know too many I don't know if he's a big photographer or not. I don't keep up with too many of the famous photographers if that's what he is. But what I was saying is I was going to, since I don't like editing a lot and I just subtly edit all my photos, I was going to set up a picture style just for me. And that's the thing when you have this awesome glass on all these, you'll find out if you don't have a lot of very quality glass, you'll find out when you get this quality glass, you don't have to edit as much. That's why a lot of people like to buy these more expensive lenses. So I'm going to switch. I'm going to make my own picture styles, and I'll probably do a whole video about that. Um, Also, I plan on doing a video. I've been thinking about doing this for a while, but an actual, uh, not impromptu video, but a good video sample of the 4K from the K3 Mark III, not just something that's like really quick like I did before. So I'll do something and put music behind it and try some of the different picture styles and see what's going on there. So those are two videos I'm going to come up with pretty soon. Oh, Leon Axe was a photographer who got punched in the face by Mike Tyson. Was that recent? I guess I don't keep up with the news if that was recent. I think a lot of photographers have probably been punched in the face. Probably all those uh, street photographers and paparazzi guys. Uh, yeah, people don't like people getting in your face with the camera, so I stay away from that. That's why I do landscapes and nature photography. um, all right, we're at 27 minutes, so I guess I'll end it here. I feel like there's more I need to talk about, but I didn't write down too much. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. And like I said, I'll be doing these lives at various times, and they're just going to be sporadic. So subscribe, hit that bell, and it might tell you when I go live. So might have a few more viewers and a few more chatters on here so we could talk. So next one will probably be early in the morning on the US, like 2 in the morning or something like that. So if you're across seas, you might be able to get on here and chat with me if you can understand my English Southern accent. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good night.